It kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go with Jacob Butter. Gotta go lefty.
No, we're talking about the players. That's tournament champion to the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast. Good evening and welcome to Down Lane Podcast. We are streaming live from the lab at Town and Country Lanes. I am your host, Kyle Haines, and with me is the assistant to the host, Anthony Scaccia. He is really excited tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at that hat.
I'd like to thank the viewer who sent this to me through Kyle.
That's right, the wife of the host.
I'm not supposed to tell people.
Well, it happened. It is what it is. Yeah, thanks, Stephanie, for the awesome hat. That was amazing. You look like an idiot, but
I thought I looked really good. I went out to the snack bar, and people were like, "What are you doing?"
I think it's pretty amazing. You look good.
Look good, feel good, play good, and possibly smell good.
Is that what that smell is? I wasn't sure what it was in here.
You know, you gotta be ready.
All right, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts for when we go live or upload stuff to the channel. Share with your friends. Do us a favor if you don't mind, so that we can grow our channel and send you stuff. Find us on Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter.
The Tweeter, the Instagram, and the Facebook.
All the socials.
Everybody's calling me a pinhead.
That's what you are, a pinhead. But yeah, that's where you'll find all of our stuff. And you can also always email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. You can send us show topic suggestions, ball review suggestions, anything you want. You can just email us to tell us how stupid we are or whatever.
How much fun we have.
Or how cool we are. That's always fun too. But yeah, so you can email us and always comment to us during the show. We will always take your comments, and then we'll always answer your questions at the end of the show. And then on today's show, we will be discussing some local tournaments going on in our area. Little PWBA. I always get that tongue twister for me. I don't know. It's really
PWBA.
PWBA.
It's PWBA. 4 letters.
PWBA update. Not really an update, but they're at practice tonight. But we'll talk a little bit about the PWBA, a little bit about the PBA, PBA 50. So a little bit of pro stuff going on. We're not going to dive too deep into it, but just some update stuff. And then our topic of the evening: lane topography. What it is, why it matters.
You are not a fan of this.
That's what I said. I'm not a fan. I think it's important. It's good for people to learn about, and why we measure it, why it's important, why it matters, right? But what'd you do this week? What was going on in your life this week?
I would like the record to show that Kyle Haines has a piece of paper over there. He's cheating on the outline. He's not using his computer. Wasting trees.
Listen, it's a lot easier for me to read off of a piece of paper and then be able to read people's comments on the computer than it is for me to shrink my screen down so I have 2 screens going on my tiny little laptop here. So yes, I do have a piece of paper. It's easier for me. I'm sorry. Sorry, trees.
Let the record show that you have a piece of paper.
On Earth Day, no less.
We have an echo, Kyle. One of us has an echo, yeah.
Echo. Sorry. I'm not sure how to fix that. Echo cancellation.
Maybe I put my mic in wrong, but that'd be typical me.
Probably.
Kyle, let me do it for myself today. You know, but I'm excited. I get to bowl you tonight. That's what I'm excited for this week. I'm gonna absolutely destroy you.
Yeah, last time you shot 800 in my face.
So we're gonna run a challenge tonight. What is it called? It's Kyle. Kyle, your mic is the echoey one. We're gonna run a. What are we running again? What's it called? Not a challenge. A giveaway for a bowling pin and a free game of bowling. Whoever can guess which team wins more points tonight between Kyle and Stephanie and myself and Janelle. There's only 5 points in the league. So there's 1 point for each game and 1 point for total. So you got to guess the correct score. We could be giving away a lot of bowling pins tonight. Hopefully my dad's got some back there.
He does. But also,
should we have a tiebreaker?
Last week, Stephanie shredded the lanes last week. She was throwing it really good.
They want a live stream of Kyle versus Anthony. I don't think you want to see chairs thrown. Unbelievable.
Anthony just did an air
drum. I did.
There's a name for that. I forget what that's called. No, there's a name for that. But anyway, I don't know. I don't think anybody wants to watch us.
Fine.
I don't know. Maybe if Austin feels like setting it up, he can set it up. But he's got his own match to bowl tonight. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who bowls better. I think Stephanie's got it together tonight, and then I've just got to bowl as good as she does.
Wow, we're already getting picked to win. Boom, roasted.
Who picked the win?
Ron Williams. Thanks, Ron. Thanks for picking me. Always pick the left.
3-2. 3-2. All right. So yeah, local action coming up this weekend. We got TNBA doubles in the area at East Greenbush.
Yeah, bowling on May 2nd. You bowling?
I'm not. That's my dad's birthday.
Oh, we also have to let the record show that tomorrow is Kyle's birthday.
You did not have to.
Happy birthday, Kyle Haines. Woo!
It's tomorrow, but yeah.
That is the logo. But yeah, we got the.
Thanks, Rich Manzer. He's got me beating you tonight. Me and Stephanie beating you.
Sad pick. But we got the TMDA doubles coming up. I am bowling May 2nd with Heath Bar Crunch, a.k.a. Heath Boyle.
Nice.
And we're bowling with Greg Klopfer.
Nice.
Nobody else wanted to bowl with me. So we're bowling on that. Should be a good time. Ran by the Albany TMBA, Natalie Samuels, and Robert Danzy.
All right. And you can re-enter multiple doubles partners, it looks like.
Yeah, you can enter as many times as you want. Yep.
Then that Boulevard Bowl is Sister Center. We got the state tournament coming up. Teams and doubles and singles a little bit available. Team tournament already sold out.
Yeah.
They announced it like just a few weeks ago. They announced it, and I don't know how it's sold out already. But
Kyle's angry.
I am angry about it. It's what we use. Like they just announced it, and
maybe we can get in. I'll squeeze us in.
Can't even get in.
I know a guy.
So I'm not too happy. But anyway, and then on Tuesday nights right now, I think the date's still a little bit up, or the day of the week is a little bit up in the air as far as if it's going to continually be on Tuesdays.
No. I've already got it figured out.
You're keeping it on Tuesdays?
We're not. We're going back to Thursdays. But for the time being, because we bowl Thursday nights for another 2 weeks, we were keeping it on Tuesdays. And then after we get done with the Tuesdays, which would be in like 2 weeks, once we get done with the league on Thursday, we're going to flip back to Thursday and have that Thursday night the TNC Sport Series, and we're going to do some bowling. So we're going to do, more than likely, we'll do 4 games of qualifying, and we will have a step ladder at the end. Top 4 make a step ladder, depending on how many entries we have. So we'll do that. We did run one this Tuesday. We bowled on Winding Road. The cut was -15. And it was a great learning experience for a lot of guys. And, we did have a guy who went from, not going to mention his name, he took it great. He was leading the tournament after one with plus 69. The next game, he shot 87. No, not 187, not 287, 87. Great guy. He had a great time, and he ended up picking it up a little bit. So we had a good time there. Alex Bonesteel won, and we had 22 participants. We took 4 to the stepladder final, and Jake Shank was our overall leader with plus 49. So it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Happy with it, But other than that, we have to say that congratulations to Liz Culkin. Another New York State Queens Championship. She's got 3 in a row. Boom. Picture. Got it. Nice work, Austin. Whoever did that. But yeah, she won her third straight time. My girlfriend did bowl. She didn't make the cut. She missed it by about 20 pins. But I guess there was quite a few good bowlers out there this weekend. Liz Johnson shot 300 out there. And Liz was pretty well off. She was, what'd she have, 12:47 in qualifying? So that's phenomenal. But you're still playing with your mic, so I will keep on talking here. How did the Monday night?
Got the whole show over there.
I can totally do this. We lost Kyle. It's all you, Ant. That's cool. Thanks, Austin. Monday night, we did do a little live stream for the Monday Night NFL. That's the other thing that we did this week, and I was the announcer. Go check that out. It's 2.5 hours of me and Jeremy Hoodcamp kind of commentating, more or less me, but Jeremy was on there. We had a good time. Congratulations to our producer, Austin, for winning the championship. So he bowled great, absolutely crushed him. And so that's what happened this week. Kyle is still fiddling around, which is completely fine.
I'm sorry. I don't know if anybody can hear me, but I am sorry.
Kyle's sorry. So we have the PWB update. We don't have one. We were trying to get Liz to give us a phone call in or something to try and get, how the protocols are out there in Minnesota and how the lanes are playing. But unfortunately, she had to do some PWBA promotional stuff, and she had to meet with some of the Brunswick team out there, and I don't blame her. Because, Kyle's a little upset, but, Ryan Rafferty absolutely crushed me or the pins. That was from Monday. Ryan Rafferty bowled with Austin. They crushed the pins. So, and here we go. Next thing up is we actually have an update from Brian Leclerc. We've been following him all week on the over 50 PBA, the PBA 50 tournaments down in Florida. After the first round of the Johnny Petraglia BVL Open, he was 52nd. Round 2, he had a really good round, went to 15th. And he was 15th after the first round of match play as well. And then after he finished 11th overall after the second round of match play. The winner of that tournament was Jason Couch, throwing a track strata in that event. Yep, there he is. In that event, there was actually, it's funny enough because I was watching it with my dad because we were totally not doing anything. And we were watching Mike Hagen Jr. He shot 300 in the semifinal match with a Pandemonium solid. He shot 300 against Chris Barnes, and Chris Barnes shot 289. What are the chances? Are you back?
I think so. Can you hear me?
I don't know. I turned my... Okay, Austin said yes.
Woohoo! I'm alive. What's up?
Anyways.
Sorry, guys.
Should I keep going? Shut up.
Yeah, go ahead, man. You're killing it. You're just... It was... I was listening.
Good.
I'm amazed.
I sounded good.
You know what? I'm just going to leave. I'm out.
Totally good. You're totally comfortable with me taking over the show in 2 weeks. So, yeah, anyways, I watched the match a little bit. Hagen had a really good line right up the lane. He had a really good hold spot, it looked like, playing right up the lane. Didn't do too much to it. Barnes was hooking at the whole lane with a PBR, hustle PBR by Roto Grip, pinned down. It was a heck of a match because Hagen needed to throw the first 2 to shut him out. And if he gets the first 2, he shoots at least, unless he gutters.
Yeah.
He shoots 290. So that was a really good match to watch. And then Jason Couch kind of tore it up. Well, he tore it up with that track strata.
The lefty we omitted from the bracket, by the way.
I don't remember that. I don't remember anything. So, yeah, it was a good event. Leclerc bowled good. I watched Leclerc. He had to strike out to beat somebody. He had to punch out to beat him by a pin. He was the second guy to go, and he knocked them all down 3 times in a row. Got a turkey at the end. So he won that match. I don't remember who it was against, but I think it was like 240 to 180. So, Kyle, you ready to get back into the swing of things? You're not ready?
I guess no. I'm good. No, and then did you talk about the Super Slam at all, real quick?
Did not get to the Super Slam.
Yeah. So Lavoie.
Can you explain what the Super Slam was?
So it was the winner of all the majors, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they bowled a eliminator.
Eliminator style.
Excuse me, and then it wasn't an eliminator all the way through, though, right? It was a.
Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was doing something.
But Lavoie won another $100,000. It's no big deal.
Guy's just good.
Yeah.
He doesn't do a lot to the ball. He gives everybody he gives people like Kyle a chance to.
I'm telling you, that's what I'm loving. I love the fact that he's 350 revs. He throws at 18 miles an hour, and he's just he's a stroker. He
old school.
Yeah, it's great.
I did watch him. There's a slow-mo video on YouTube, and it was a lot of the newer players, and he was on there, and he's kind of just he doesn't really get that big. I don't even know what to call it. He doesn't load up like all the new players. He's pretty old school, a little bit of a straighter arm. Doesn't really try to gnaw on it like chicken dinner like Zach Bailey. But so it's interesting to watch the difference between him, and he rolls it all forward. Yeah. In the video, he rolled it forward. I'm sure he can do some other things, but he really was just rolling it forward. I watched a lot of the righties and the lefties because I'm trying to see the difference. And the righties all throw it forward, and the lefties get around it a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I've always noticed that the lefties are always around the ball a little bit more.
Trying to make it hook just a little bit more. So yeah, that's really cool. Really cool. Good for him.
Yeah.
Guy's a legend.
He's getting there.
Canadian
French fry.
Okay. Is that what you really call him?
That's what I call him now. I call him French fry. He's French Canadian.
Yeah, but why do you call him Fry?
I don't know. Why not?
Okay, I like it. I like it.
So in outside bowling news, the PGA, Professional Golfers Association, and I'm only bringing this up because it maybe could work in bowling someday if they had enough money to do it. But have you heard about this PGA likability notice? Bonus, not notice, bonus. It's actually called a player.
I did take a look at it before we got on here, but
program.
That, no.
Yeah, they have $40 million that they're going to give out just for being
a good face of the sport.
Yeah,
super awesome.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna go on the tour. PGA Tour. Excuse me.
Well, you do have to be like one of the top 70 players.
Have you seen me golf?
Yes.
I'll make it happen.
So the top 10 players, the top, not 10 skilled players, but the top 10 players that make these points, if you will get this $40 million delved out to them, and the top player of those 10 gets $8 million extra. Why not, right?
Pretty cool. It's good that they have the money for it. Is that?
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, how cool would it be to add this to the PBA? But I mean, where would they ever get that? Not $40 million, but
no, I assume not. Yeah, no, Mitch, we don't want a bad boy. We already have Pete Weber.
Yeah,
he's enough.
Yeah, we don't need any more bad boys in the sport. But yeah, like, they're just what would they give away? I mean, $1,000. They're already struggling to give good prize funds. I mean, the U.S. Open, they gave $30,000 away to the winner, and $1,000 for 10th or 15th or something. It was, I mean, you can't even get to Vegas for $1,000 or Reno. So
that's true.
It's of course that's USBC, but still.
It's a separate.
I understand.
PBA, USB are separate.
You understand, but
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Another interesting story. This one is bowling related, though, just in kind of out there news.
Oh, we were a bowling podcast, Kyle.
This is bowling related. This one is bowling related. Okay.
Unbelievable.
What is the weirdest thing somebody has asked you to do in the pro shop as far as drill a bowling ball? What's the weirdest thing anybody's had you do?
I guess it's not weird, but he was like, I need a teardrop.
What does that mean?
guess that's what they called it back in the day. He wanted a teardrop grip. So he wanted it so like his, I don't even think that's called your cuticle, but he like wanted like the top of his nail in the ball and that's it. So he wanted me to cut it really long, and then he wanted me to bevel it off so that way the ball was like shaped this way so he could barely fit his fingers in. He was like, I need a teardrop. And I was like, buddy, I've never even heard of that. And he was like, well, I need a teardrop. He's like, and then what did he tell me? He said, I've got a really good way to get your lanes oiled. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, just give me the Muppet in the oil and I'll take care of it. I was like, buddy, I got a machine that does that. And he's like, what are you talking about? He was coming back from like a long time ago. Yeah. But I guess he did that back in the day. Teardrop. Wow. Yeah, that's the weirdest thing.
Nobody's asked you to put anything inside of a ball or anything?
No.
So this guy in Peoria, Illinois.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, Peoria.
Did you look that up?
No. I know cities.
You've been there?
I've been near Peoria.
Okay,
yeah.
So you know how to spell it. Okay.
So his dad died a few years ago, was cremated, and he's a two-hander that had a thumb hole. And when he needed to fill his thumb hole, he decided, I'm going to fill this thumb hole not just with ball plug, but with the ashes of his deceased father.
Oh, yeah, good for him.
So I just thought that was really crazy. And then not only did he do that, he immediately shot 300 after he did that. I thought that was the craziest thing.
I feel pretty bad because he's not going to keep that ball forever. Like, I mean, now he probably is, but like, why
not? I mean, he can keep it in his house for as long as he wants.
Yeah, but I just feel like, I don't know. I'm sorry. That's cool. I like that. But like, I can't, its ball's going to be bad in like a year or two. It's like,
but then, okay, so he doesn't use it anymore, but he props it up on
drill it out, keep
you just keep the ball up on your shelf.
And plug your other ball and put the ashes from the other ball and drill it out, put it in a vacuum, dump it in the other one, and plug it back up.
No, you just keep the ball with the ashes plugged in there up on
I get it. I'm just
next
saying,
to the urn that the rest of the ashes are in.
I was just like, okay.
He doesn't need to bowl continuously with ashes in his bowling ball.
I was just kind of joking, but yes, you're right. That's exactly how I was taking it. That's where I was going with that. I think it's cool he did that, though, 100%. Yeah.
So let's show the shot. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's not there anymore because I got to pull it up now because my computer was lost. I got to get it now. Sorry, Austin. I screwed everything all up. What a anticlimactic moment that I just created because I had to restart my computer. Here you go.
Hoping that it would strike, and it did.
Come on, boy!
I had goosebumps, chills. He was there. This was the best one. This is by far the best, and it was definitely the hardest one because, I mean, I was shaking.
Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. He bowled 300 with his dad's ashes in the bowling ball.
That's definitely cool. It's just not
cool. Kind of weird.
Kind of both. I mean, I don't think I would do it.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into today's topic, shall we?
Should we turn out the lights and then return them on, make it exciting?
I don't know. Why?
This week we are getting into where's the Y button? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. You go ahead, Kyle. Go ahead. Take it away.
Well, anyway, we're talking about lane topography, what it is, why it matters, all that good stuff. Anthony, what is lane topography? What does it mean? Well, topography, I mean, if you went to geography class, you know what topography is, right?
Yeah. So lane topography, it's how the lane – it's so funny.
I'm sorry. I almost spit my water out everywhere. That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever
What did I do?
I don't know.
Okay, so lane topography is how the lane sits on the foundation and how it lays. So, you know, when the lane is sitting there, it's not perfectly flat like a lot of people think. It's not. There are nooks and crannies in every peaks and valleys and every single bowling lane that are different. So no two or 20 or 40 lanes are exactly the same. They're always got their own characteristics. So that's kind of what that is. That is what it is. And then how you measure it, I thought was kind of important because people think, okay, you put a level on the lane and it's flat. How do you measure it? So if you think about it, a playing card that you play poker with, or any kind of game, Go Fish, whatever it is, those playing cards are roughly 10,000ths
of an inch.
So that there is, not a lot. So if you have 9 playing cards, that's 90,000ths. If you've got 5 playing cards, that's 50,000ths. When you measure the lane, that's how you measure it. You measure it in thousands. So when you get like a regular level, for example, and you go out there to the lanes, yes, I have done this. Yes, I did it in the summer. It's like a 2.5-hour job just for the back ends, because we have wood back ends here. There's a level, like a regular level it can't be used, because the regular level just tries to make it semi-level. It's not even
a regular level, just if you put it across the lane, all it does is measure the lane from point A to point B and make sure that those 2 points are straight across level.
Right, but there's 2 tools for this. There is a level that is more fine-tuned, or it fine-tunes it more. So we actually tried to use a level to see how close they were, and our one level was, we guesstimated 20,000ths off. The right side was higher than the left side. When we used the normal level, like you use in your everyday household, flat. It said it was flat. So that's how finely tuned these pieces are, these equipment, these measuring devices are. And then there's another tool. I don't even know what it's called. I call it a micrometer. Sounds cool. I couldn't find the name of it.
I don't think that's what it's called.
But what it's got is there's a dial on it, and then there's a piece that sits on the lane with a spring in it, and it can move up and down.
I believe they do call it a lane level, but
sure, lane level. And what you do is you actually drag it across the lane, and that will tell you from like board 1 to board 5, or as you drag it across, it will give you the spit. Oh, Jesus, the dial will move with the pointer on it, and you can see how each lane is leveled from 10 to 15, boards 10 to 15, or boards 15 to 20. So you can kind of see, is it bowed there? Is there a dish there? Is there a crown there? Kind of deal. So you can kind of see exactly how it's sitting. Now synthetics is different, because the wood back ends, you screw them on the sides. Synthetics, you screw them through the tops. So you can change the synthetics, I think, a little bit differently. The woods, I have to make sure that the middles are always dropped. Not dropped, but I have to make sure that the sides are always raised, or the middle's a little bit dropped, because I can't screw a screw through the middle of the lane. So that's how we do it with the 2 tools there. They're super fine tuned. Have you ever used them, Kyle?
I have not physically used one. I've been here while your dad has been using them.
Right. So when we adjusted them too, we let the lanes breathe a little bit. So we take all the screws out, let the lane lift up. The bottom sits still, because it's so heavy it kind of sags, and then we took the impact guns and screwed them down. So we made sure they were level, and after we made sure the whole lane was level, because each screw affects each other one, right? After that, then we went through and put a dish in it to 20,000ths, 30,000ths, and make sure there was a depression where we wanted it.
And so basically people totally understand, a dish or depression.
Yes,
really,
that's why I used the depression word.
A dish is really a depression.
Yes.
Meaning, it's a good graphic there. So
the ball is rolling downhill.
Yeah.
Always. So I'm going to call it a dish when we're on air. So if you guys hear me refer to dish, that's what I mean. There's also another one, which is crown. Crown is when it actually goes the other way. So a dish is when it's rolling downhill. A crown is when the highest point is in the middle. And that really, you don't want to have that at all, because the ball can't travel uphill. Even though you think it can, it really can't. And also with that, the best, if there is a good part to have a crown, would be the front part of the lane, because the front part of the lane, that's where you want all the energy stored. So if there's a crown, it can't hook, it can't lose energy. So we actually flattened all of our fronts, and we tried to put a little bit of a crown in the fronts. I don't, within the legal limit.
Yeah. Which is 40,000ths, if I remember correctly, right?
They changed it. But yes, we'll say 40. 4 playing cards from the middle to the outside.
Right.
Right. So the middle can be 4 playing cards less than the outsides.
Or higher.
No, higher. It should be. You should be able to put 4 playing cards in the middle to reach the outsides.
Right. Yeah, but you can have a 40,000ths difference across the lane,
Yes.
up or down.
Yes.
But it can be from one point to the next. It can be 40,000.
That's how I did interpret it as well.
Yep.
So that's kind of what we're looking at here. And I mean, that's kind of how you take a look at it. These are things that are measured by the USBC. There is a new program out. Do you remember we talked about that? There's going to be gold, silver, and bronze.
Yeah.
So USBC is going to train people to go check all the bowling centers' topography and their flat gutters and all this other stuff. But for topography, they're actually going to rate your center depending on how well it's maintained or how flat it is or and such. So, when you go to certain places, if you're seeing more hook, there's a possibility it might not be the pattern. It could possibly be lane topography.
Right.
So anything to chime in on that?
Well, no, I think that's
the gist of it.
That's a good explanation of basically, what topography is. And that will lead us into why it's important to the game and how it's important to league night, tournament bowling, etc. Because a lot of people will think from night to night, what did you do to the lanes or what, oil wise, you know what I mean? Why is the pattern different when in fact, every week we go to a different pair in most leagues, and every pair can't be perfect. You can try your hardest to make every single lane in the house exactly perfectly level.
The goal is to make the pair as close as possible.
Right.
Because
well, that's true.
Pair,
right.
You're only bowling on 2 lanes.
Right. But what I mean is, the ultimate goal in the world would be to have the absolute perfect flat center, or obviously you guys try to have a little bit of a
always want a dish.
Dish or depression because you want the ball to hook a little bit more on the back end within the legal limits. But if you could make it exactly perfect all the way through the house, that's your ultimate goal, right?
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
We have a guy in lane 3 who has a front 9. Do you want to live broadcast that?
Oh boy. Yeah, he's got we got a 10th frame ahead of him right now, but we'll get to that in 1 second.
Yeah, sorry.
So
I thought that'd be pretty cool.
So yeah, so you want every single lane to be exactly the same throughout the whole house. That'd be really cool. But it's impossible. It's literally impossible to do that. Like you made a point before. It's like a fingerprint. Every single lane cannot be the same.
That's in my notes.
What's that? It's
Kyle's jumping through the notes like I usually do.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But it's like there's weather conditions. There's
right. So the lanes do move with different weather conditions. So the topography doesn't always stay the same. But yeah. So the other thing is you're checking that out, aren't you? You're seeing what's going on. So the other thing, how it affects your game, how we relate it, is it can really. I think I could hear myself. Sorry, Austin, you threw me off a little bit. It depends on the situation, but it can definitely. You've got on your phone, don't you? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are throwing me off. It can make or break your game. That's for sure. Just because. Oh, my father sent me a video of us cutting the lanes. I'm pretty sure it's too late for us to get it into the podcast now. He also wants me to mention that wood lanes keep the topography better than the synthetics. The synthetics are more they move a lot more. So the topography, it can make or break your game in a way. So I was listening to Norm Duke talk this week, and yes, I am echoing because we have another it's muted. Okay.
Yeah.
Norm Duke was on in the Masters, and he said it the best. He said when you bowl in an easier pattern, the topography is less noticeable from each lane to each lane. Or if you're in league, it's not as bad.
Just want to let you know, I won't say his name because I don't want to embarrass him live on the stream, but the gentleman that had the front 9 just left the 710, so I'm not going to. We'll leave him off the stream.
Yeah, good job. Good game though. So it can kind of make or break your game in a way. So when you're on an easier pattern, it doesn't really show up as much just because of the fact that the pattern's a little bit easier. There's probably a little more free hook everywhere, so it's not as bad. But when you get to the harder patterns, like when you go to the Masters or when you go to the Open Championships, or you just go to a bigger tournament where there's a harder pattern, the topography can make a huge difference because the oil is much flatter. Now, Kyle and I don't think we disagree. I just think that we both think a little differently on this. So this will be a good topic for kind of not a controversy, but a little bit of more of a open discussion on it. But I think it makes more of a difference. Like when you go to certain tournaments, there's one around here every year. I hate starting on the right side of the house because if you start on the left is always tighter than the right. So as you move throughout the tournament and you move different lanes, I'm not saying it's the topography. I'm not saying, I don't know what it is. But when you go from one side to the next, usually one side hooks less than the other. And it's more than likely it can be topography if it's a harder pattern.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Where I think topography is less of an issue is like in league or something where, or even a tournament where you are staying on your pair for the whole time or the whole night. Right. You're not moving pairs. When you're moving pairs, if you can know, that would be great. It's like going golfing where you can almost know your obstacle. You're not going to know how the lanes break down, but if you know that this lane is going to maybe give the ball away a little bit more, or it might hook a little bit more, it's a definite advantage to have. I don't know that I agree that the USBC gives that information out to every player for those tournaments. It has been
given out for past few years because I know in another tournament, the same one. I just think prior to that tournament, they had it taped on the lanes. This year they gave them a booklet.
Yeah.
I don't know if we don't have any picture of that, right? But if you go to Brad and Kyle's YouTube page.
Well, I don't have the picture of the book, but we have the picture of the topography. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're on that type of environment, it makes it a big difference for some players on how they look at the lane. Now you're looking at this lane, you're saying, wow, it looks just like a coloring book. Well, if you look really closely, there are arrows in the middle of that picture there, and you can it's kind of I don't even know what kind of book. Like it's just kind of a kid's book.
It's like a ring book with a flip.
Yeah, but I mean, like it's this picture here is kind of like a kid's book where you see the colors on there, and then there's like a key to it in the middle. So you're looking at it, and I believe this is lane 1 and 2, Austin, Kyle.
Yep.
1 and 2.
Yep. It says it right there at the top.
Yeah, I can't see it. The red is influenced to the left, so that means that the lane is slanted a little bit, towards the center. So if you're on the left side of the lane, you can see that lane. For a lefty, there is no red or yellow or dark red on the left side of the lane. So that means that lane is fairly level, or there's a little bit of a dish towards the center, which means that there's probably a little bit more. Not gonna say free hook out there, but the lane should hook just a pinch more compared to the left lane, the right lane. If you look at lane 2, there's a little bit more green and yellow down lane, to where there could be a spot. If you hit it, there might be like, wow, there's a little bit of oil there. Well, it's just not rolling as much downhill. Okay, so excuse me, this is why my father needs to be on the podcast. See, Jack, you should be on this. Kegel has a machine called the Lane Mapper that
we got a shot of that.
You do as it travels. I don't know if you want to put that up yet. Sorry, he just wanted to put that in. I didn't read your extra notes, but that's a picture there. So when we go to nationals and we go bowl, South Point has lanes 1 through 60 or 50 or whatever it is. They are all mapped out by this Kegel map. Now this is lanes 3 and 4, right? Now this pair is completely different. If you look at it, yes, there are, the lane 3 has a ton of hook down lane where there's a big red spot, big yellow. There's a lot of down lane action towards the gutter and down lane. So on that lane, yes, 100%, there should be quite a bit of hook on this lane because even the fronts are a little bit dished, a little bit more than I'd like to see. But then if you take a look at the right side of it, there is red all the way down. There's no yellow. So that should be a pretty hooking lane there. And you can see that lane 4, there's blue on the right side down lane. So the influence is actually going the other way. And that's not something you want to see because your ball is going to stand up and try to roll through it. And there's actually a hill there.
Although it's not horrible because if we tug it in,
you could have
might have a little bit of hold spot.
You can see how each lane is completely different here and how it's like, wow, okay, each lane has its own fingerprint. And I think for me, going out there, that's something I'm definitely going to look at. So, when we go to NEBAs and events, you kind of hear stuff.
Yeah.
The one center we went to, I heard that the left lane was slanted down towards the right, and the right lane was slanted down towards the left. So the lefties always had the right lane tighter, and the righties always had the left lane tighter because they were slanted, so the ball can't go uphill. So how can you use this is my next thing.
Yeah.
How can a bowler use this? Take notes.
Yep.
Even if you bowl in league, you're just trying to get better. Notepads are huge. Daniel McEwen said it last week that she keeps notes, write things down for the junior goal people, but I'm sure she does keep notes as well. When you go bowling league, if you're bowling 1 through 8 or 10 through 16 or whatever it is, and you're like, man, I can never hit that pair. I can't hit 11 and 12. I can't hit 5 and 6. Figure out why you can't hit 5 and 6. Maybe the topography is a little bit different. Maybe it's a little bit tighter for you there. So maybe take notes and say, well, this week I didn't bowl that bad, but, I moved a little bit here. And for whatever reason, the lane was way tighter than last week. Then you go to another lane. You're like, wow, they're really hooking this week. They could be hooking. They could be, depending on the weather, but also topography can make a difference. So you can keep notes on that and try to see, what lanes are better for you than others. I know some guys keep their scores and they score better on one lane versus another.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's always something that you could do a little bit. And I'm not saying that all your issues come down to topography either.
Right. Because like we talked about earlier, it comes down to thousandths of an inch. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But it's
what we're talking about isn't from a Greek church to a washout. It's more of a ringing 10.
Yeah.
Or
your ball's not rolling through the right way.
Right.
It's just not getting through it. My ball doesn't get through it as well on lane 9 as it does on lane 10. My dad said it the other day. I can't hook the ball on 22, and I can hook the ball load on 21. Yep. Righties hate that pair in this house, and I'll tell you right now, that is the worst pair for righties and one of the best pair for lefties. And I leveled them out, but still, I don't know if it makes a
difference. We know who to blame.
Yeah. But the other thing to look at, too, is like what we're saying, take notes. You bowl on those lanes for 30 weeks, more or less, right? Yep. You bowl them for 20, I don't care, 25 to 30 weeks, you're going to bowl in the same lanes over and over and over again. If it is the topography or whatever it is, more than likely, you still should be able to make a game plan based on, well, if you take notes and say, okay, this lane, so this week I'll start 3 boards farther right on 19 and 20 or whatever lane it is versus when I bowl on 11 and 12 because I know that the ball doesn't hook as much. So it's something to know and to keep in the back of your mind. That's all. I know this conversation, this episode might be a little dry. Kyle and I were talking about it. But I think it's just something that some bowlers don't know. And it's something that we try to make it important to our center just because, it's something that we want to keep consistent across the board. So it's something I think about. Maybe you guys might not. Maybe Kyle doesn't as much. But when I go to a center tournament, if I catch a bad pair, more than likely it was topography. Like I always catch the end pairs. And the end pairs.
That's what everybody thinks.
I do always get the end pairs, though. I always get an end pair somewhere. And I just
what
feel
happens
like
when you move lanes?
Yeah, but do you always catch an end pair? You never get the pair to the left of it.
The left of what?
You never get like 21, 22.
I caught 2 end pairs last week.
Or
last time we were in Connecticut.
I used to never catch end pairs. Now I always catch end pairs. But when you bowl in a smaller center, it's more it's a more possibility of happening. But the other thing is when you hit the end pairs, because that's where the foundation stops, that you play a little bit funny. Believe it or not, our end pairs are the highest scoring pairs in the house.
Yeah, I didn't have any problem on the end pairs.
23, 24. There's multiple 300s, 800s.
Yep.
1 and 2. Loads of scores up there too. So that's the other thing you have to think about. What else do you have to add, Kyle? Anything? Austin just told us that he doesn't hit end pairs ever in tournaments. You're going to hit all the end pairs now. What else do you have to add, Kyle? Come on. Anything that you think the viewers should know, thinking about?
Yeah, so I was about to say, my thought on, you were saying that I don't think as much about topography, which it's not about not thinking as much. I am in the camp of using my ball to tell me what to do, which I try not to. I try to think in the moment of what is happening and not try to be tricked by although it happens all the time.
You get tricked.
Yeah, I try not to get tricked by the lane or the oil or whatever. I just want to see what the ball is doing, and that's how I want to make my adjustments. I don't want to try to convince myself that, well, the card said that this lane has a hook from the right, so I know that I got to
Right.
move to the left. You know what I mean?
You don't want to get tricked into
Yeah.
it. But the way I look at it is, if I'm looking at those ones from South Point, I'm just gonna say, lanes 1 and 2, whatever. There's a bunch. Oh, you put it up. Thanks. The left lane, in theory, looks like it's gonna hook it should be more even roll, but the other lane's got a little more of a kind of an even in the middle. The other one's a little more, I think, the left lane is more dished for me, where there's not as much flatness, and then the other one has a little bit more of influences the other way down lane.
I did notice too, if you go through all the topography of South Point, and I don't know if it's the guys that installed I don't know if it's the guys that installed the lanes there, but it does seem that the right side is more
like lanes 45 to 50 or like 40 to 50.
No, not the higher numbers, just the right side of the lane. And maybe it's the blue versus the red. Maybe I'm just interpreting the color choice wrong, but it seems like the right side has more steepness to it than the left side does. And I could just be it could just be the color.
Thousands again, but still, I mean, if you go up to the higher numbers up there, there is a lot of really dished portions of it. Like the topography gets funky as you get up towards the higher end of the house. So like if we bowl at the higher end of the house, I'll probably tell my team, hey, this is kind of what it looks like. Be ready for anything. Your ball might hop down lane. I don't know. Not really. But, there's a lot of different stuff that goes on with it. And we're not bashing it. It's just that's how the game is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's something to think about. And Jack says, let your ball be your guide, which is 100% right. But it's something that, the best players in the world are able to put in the back of their mind and kind of say, okay, this is what this lane's doing. This is what this lane's doing. Like the Christmas Eve tournament, Jack Scaccia was writing down notes on every lane on tables. So let your ball be your guide, but at the same time, maybe have some notes out there. This lane hooks more than that lane. This lane hooks. That's what they do in practice, I'm sure.
On the Christmas Eve tournament, when you're throwing one ball down, hopefully one ball down every single lane for a 24 frame tournament, that's a little bit different than just crossing pairs.
100%.
But anyway, so we do have a shot of the lane mapper that Kegel has that actually, I don't know if this rides down the lane or if it gets pushed down the lane, but this is a lot more advanced than, unfortunately, most people are able to get their hands on. Like you said, you guys do this by hand, literally. I don't know if it's every 5 feet or 10 feet. I don't know what how many feet down the lane you guys are doing it.
Pretty close. Not 10 feet.
5 feet?
No.
Or more, you're saying?
I'd say every there's a lot of screws in the wood, Kyle.
Oh, you're doing it by screw distance.
Yeah, because you can't change it where there is no screw.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You're measuring it up the screws. I got you. Okay. So so at all of the screw areas, you're putting the level down and going across the lane, and then you're going front to back on the lane as well.
Yes, making sure that that's flat. Yes.
Yeah. So Kegel's got the machine to be able to actually measure that topography. And then we also have the video here that I will bring up to show PDW did a study with.
He did do a study with him. We have shown this video before. We might have to show it a few times.
Show it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did. I'm pretty sure because I told you where to find it. Well, you got a really good video of it because mine was not anywhere like that. But this is actually him bowling on the same pattern with different topography set on the lanes. So he says he owes lanemen a lot of apologies. So he rips the rack there, which looks pretty good. Let's see what happens here. Okay. So that's the same oil pattern with two different sets of topography.
Yeah, I just wanted to pause it here because you can see his launch angle is the same exact angle on both lanes. His target is only a tenth off, a tenth of a board off.
And he picked off the 10 pin.
Yeah, and his mile per hour are 0.03 of a mile per hour off.
Yeah,
so
it's a pretty close shot.
Yeah, so
not as perfect as me, but I mean it's still
So he threw it basically perfect on lane 6 as he did on lane 5, and we'll just show that again real quick. like I said, rip the rack on lane 5, and on lane 6.
Never even. Yeah. He picked off 2, 3.
Yeah, I think he got from the back 3. Yeah.
Yes. So it is a important thing to know about. Maybe to put in the back of your mind, but it's certainly not something to put in the front of your frontal lobes of your brain.
I don't even know if that's even close to the right brain centers to be discussing right now. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness.
Well, geez, who's got questions? I want to know who's got questions.
I know. Jack had a question. He said,
hold on. Who had a question?
Jack Pow! Sorry. How does oil affect topography, if it even does?
Topography affects oil.
There you go.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
I can like we just showed in that video there. That's kind of your answer. How the oil is exactly the same. Topography is different. Picked off 2, do a strike. Oil is kind of irrelevant in a way, almost when you get to the harder. I mean, it's not irrelevant, but topography plays more of a role, I think, when the patterns get harder. And the surface, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But if your lanes are really dished, you're always going to have hook. If your lanes are really flat, they're always going to appear to play tighter. And that's why I think that we've had decent luck with practicing here for the past few years at nationals, because even though we do have the wood lanes, which there's a little bit more friction, quite a bit more friction, our lanes have always been fairly flat. So that way, when we go out there, it's kind of there's a little more dish out there, I think, so we can kind of get the tightness, but not too much or not enough. You know what I mean?
How about the application of the oil? So, like, I've always wondered about this, and I think I asked your dad.
This
about
is a great question because we don't know.
We couldn't really figure it out, and maybe this is a good question for the Kegel guys. The brush is flat, right? The brush. So, for people that may not understand or know, the lane machine applies the oil via a spinning brush.
Kegels do, at least.
Right. Okay. Let's say our lane machine here.
Yes.
Applies
most lane
the oil
machines across the country.
Yeah. Applies the oil via a spinning brush. So that brush is perfectly straight across the lane machine.
Yes.
So if the lane is dished or depressed or crowned, that brush is not actually laying across the lane perfectly or exactly the same way across the entire lane. So is it actually applying the same amount of oil or exactly the same way across the whole lane as it goes down the lane?
It's really hard to know.
Right.
I don't even know if they know.
I mean, you'd
have they even thought of that?
I assume, but you'd have to tape the whole lane.
Brush, like it's a brush, right? So it's like got little strands.
The bristles are
right. So I'm sure you have to position the bristles in the proper location to be able to touch the surface if it's at 50 or 60 thousandths off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
Still, even if the brush, what if the whole bristle's touching and that whole bristle applies all of its oil, and then if you're dished, the middle of the lane is only getting a tip of the bristle and it's only giving it a little bit of oil. It's just a curious question. You know what I mean?
Right. So that's kind of the funny thing is when you look at topography, if there's a big dish in it or depression, there's always way more hook. There's usually never a hold spot. So is it because the oil machine didn't really touch the center of the lane, or is it because there's so much of gravity forcing it downhill?
It's crazy.
I know. That's exactly what I was thinking as well when we go through everything. But I know dry topic, but I think that people need to know about it.
Yeah.
If we're informing the I was gonna say the public, informing the bowlers and the viewers about everything. I think the viewers. I think we have to touch on this, even if it's just for one episode, and boom, so be it. Until somebody else asks. I think it's important, and I think this is kind of what the pros do on practice day too. They don't really stay in one location; they move around, and they don't test necessarily how the oil pattern is, because the oil pattern is the oil pattern. But they're testing what side of the house hooks more, what side of the house doesn't hook more, what pairs are hooking less or more. They kind of write notes on that, I'm sure, so that way they have a better idea. And I think that has to do with the topography.
Yeah.
Right. We have a question here, Mitch Young. Mitch, my boy Mitch. What's up, Mitch?
We're still trying to get our local
Any suppose
PWBA star Liz Culkin on the show. She has promised that she'll try to work it out with us.
She's busy though.
A little busy in Minnesota right now. What's her schedule? We didn't mention what the right now.
Practice is today. She just ended practice probably 20 minutes ago. Right?
No, they're an hour. Oh yeah, they are an hour.
6:53.
Yeah, but they ended an hour.
5:30. Yeah. Excuse me for not getting my time zones correct, everybody. But yeah, Kyle's gonna look that up. Any spoilers on the next guest? We do have another person lined up. He is on the Brunswick side of things. We're not sure when we're gonna get him on yet. But we had to discuss it today, what days would be good. So we should have another guest on the show soon.
And also, again, nothing solid, but another PBA affiliate, I would call him. Not necessarily. He's not he does bowl some events, but he's not a PBA bowler, but he's an affiliate for some other type of information, which is pretty neat that somebody asked for. And we're going to try to nail that
somehow
one down too.
He got in contact with Kyle.
Because we are getting noticed. We are big. We're big time. Big time.
Thank you, Kyle. Thoughts on the purple tank and fatal venom from Motive? From Mitch Young. I will say the purple tank is probably very similar to the purple hammer. Another recreation try at the greatest urethane ball of all time. I think J.R. Raymond had a review on it. And I can't remember. I think he said it was a little more docile or a little earlier than the purple hammer. They're close, but just a pinch different. Then the fatal venom, I think that's the green one and the white one. I think that's the venom has been such a good ball. I'm pretty sure that's a little cleaner of a ball used for lighter oil. It's a little more. It looks angular. I know a lot of guys feel that shock, that venom shock. So I'm assuming it's going to be similar, just a little bit different, a little bit more cleaner through the fronts, stronger in the backs. Would you guys be interested in having Ron Hickland from Creating the Difference on the show? I think that would be really good. Yeah, I think that'd be awesome because he has some really good content and videos. Mm-hmm. Kyle sent me one the other day about ball surface. And like we talk about for nationals, ball surface is key. I saw another post on Facebook today talking about, do you guys use stuff out of the box that's polished or do you hit it with surface? A lot of guys said they hit it with surface. So some guys said 500 no matter what. And I was like, I don't know where you're bowling, buddy, but I don't want to bowl with you.
Yeah, so. No, definitely. He's got a lot of good stuff on there that I've noticed.
Yeah, he's super...
I just commented on one of his videos, as a matter of fact.
Did you really?
I did.
You need to email him. You're the guy to do it. Oh, Mitch is on staff with them. Oh, that is awesome. Mitch, you are a great person.
Which is good to know.
Mitch is big time. But yeah, those are the two that I don't know too much about those Motive balls, but yeah, that's what I would say about those. I think that that would be a good conversation piece because that's surface. You know how long you could talk about surface for? He's got a lot of good products out there too that really help maintain
his surface reader.
Yeah, me and Phil looked up the other day. Phil texted me and said, "How much is one of those things?" And he was like, "Wow, that's a lot of money." And I was like, "Yep, not getting one of those things." Hey, Ron, you got any extra ones of those things so we can try to play with it a little bit? No, but yeah, they're stupid expensive. But yeah, we did see about a bunch of stuff. Like we talk about surface all the time on the show.
Talk about surface?
Yep. And he did say that your ball gets to like 4,000, 4,500 after 3 games from 2,000 or 3,000 or it's kind of like they all mesh up at that point. They get right around there. So that's crazy that 3 games does that much to it.
3 games. Toast.
3 gosh darn games, Kyle.
Yeah. That sucks. Ruins your surface in 3 games.
That's why you got to resurface it.
Well, you
Not
can't.
resurface, but
Not in the middle of the.
not in the middle of a block. But usually
You just need 3 of the same balls, right? Well, I mean, but also the lanes are going away too. So it's like,
right.
what are you gonna do? All right. Well, we got one more. Nope.
We
How
have
many
another
10 pins will Zach Phillips leave tonight? At least half a dozen.
Just remember, Zach, throw it better.
That's why he's watching the show, because he's going to try to get better.
Zach is getting better. Zach, you're doing a great job. Not Bailey Phillips. Bailey, I don't know. You're probably on this right now. You got work to do.
Before we go, we do have one more big announcement.
We do. Yeah.
Our first big winner. He received his ball cup in the mail. Jake Kessner. He got it.
Yeah, baby.
There it is.
Look at that picture and all. What a guy.
All the way, where was that? Iowa, right? Was it in Iowa?
You mailed it.
I know. I totally forgot already. Yeah, Iowa, I'm pretty sure.
It made it to the Midwest. We are DOP worldwide.
Worldwide. Dude,
All
we've
right.
got downloads everywhere. Downloads in Asia, Europe.
How Asia?
Asia.
Can they understand us? We don't have a Google Translate on here.
Thanks, Jack Papow. He said happy birthday.
Kyle's birthday. He's gonna be 33.
35. Old.
35.
Yeah.
You're almost 40.
Shush. All right. Well, yeah. So thanks, Jake, for watching and joining the
DLP crew.
TLP crew. And thanks to Danielle McEwen for participating in our silly little game that we had. Was that last week already? Holy cow. That was already last week.
No, it was today.
Well, anyway.
Hello.
All right. Well, it is time for us to go bowling. So we're going to head out of here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Catch us on Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitter. If you can't watch the show, don't forget.
Burlington, Iowa. Jake, thanks for tuning in, Jake. Burlington,
Hey,
Iowa.
Jake's on the show. What's up, Jake? And if you can't watch the show, you can always download it and listen on any major podcast outlet. And if you'd like to make suggestions for the show, you can always email us at downlanepod@gmail.com.
Please do. We want to see what the folks want to see. The crew. We want to see what the DLP crew wants to hear.
Yeah. We've got some good ideas. Actually, almost forgot.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we're making a call out to all the proprietors right now. We're doing it. We're doing it live on the air. Right now, it's going to be local within like a 50-mile radius, but we're making a call out to all the proprietors. Anthony and I.
The who?
Proprietors. So we're challenging any proprietor that wants to get in on this to challenge Anthony and I to a doubles match.
How many games?
3 games.
Okay.
Or
Total score.
actually, here's what it is. We just show up, you and I.
Yep.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
The proprietor and partner of his choice.
So it has to be the proprietor.
Yeah.
Okay.
They get to choose. Well, it has to be at their location. They get to choose the rules, the lane conditions, and their partner. And we bowl them. And I don't care what the rules are, what the bowling balls are, house shoes, whatever. But we all have to bowl on the same rules.
Can we use a dinosaur ramp?
I'm telling you what they decide the rules
There's
are.
really no rules.
They decide what the rules are. We show up and bowl. Whoever wins, wins.
The rules are there are no rules.
It can be regular bowling or it can be whatever they decide the rules are. But we're challenging the proprietors to take on Anthony and I for some
Entertainment.
what do you call this? Content. So yeah, bring it on.
The people want to see me bowl more.
That's right. And you're right, Jeremy. Uncle Mike Scaccia will destroy Anthony.
Listen, only if we're bowling off-footed.
That's right. We all have to bowl. So does he. So that would be the rule, though. We would have to be the wrong foot Louis, and he would have to bowl correctly.
My dad just texted me. He said he wants in. Him and Artie.
Ooh, that would be a challenging match.
Okay, so we will have our first one eventually.
That's right. All right. So the number one rule of bowling club is you don't speak of bowling club. I love it, Mitch Young. Nice try. Anthony probably has no idea what Mitch Young is talking about.
0.
Oh my God! Look up Fight Club, Anthony. He's young and stupid. I'm sorry. All right. So yeah, any proprietor that wants to take us on within a 50-mile radius of this area right now, unless we happen to be on vacation or in Las Vegas or on the road for some reason. But right now we're not going very far. But yeah, we'll be in Las Vegas for the Open Championship. So Anthony Simonson, if you want to take us on
At the Nerd.
we're happy to take your challenge.
No shot.
And we'll be in Connecticut this weekend. So if that guy wants to take us on this weekend, we'll be there.
Going in a tournament though, Kyle.
Yeah, whatever. We can do it afterward. After we win, I win. And anyway, so yeah, take us on. Come on, guys. Thank you to Austin VanBuren, our producer, Jack Scaccia, proprietor of Town and Country Lanes. Anthony, another good show today. Good information. Nice job. Well done. Well put together.
Thank you.
Thank you to my family, Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan. And ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. This is Down Lane Podcast.